This evening, first up, high drama in politics. Win party leader and businessman Azruddin Mohamed is arrested in connection with an alleged cover-up of a violent assault tied to his party. The shocking allegations, the viral video, and what Mohamed says really happened. Plus, from manhunt to arrest, the driver accused of killing a baby and her teenage mother in March hit and run is finally behind bars. We have the exclusive details on the late day capture and what comes next. Also, election watch intensifies. GECOM clears up election confusion, flags faulty party lists, and confirms the PPP and APNU are the only two parties to meet all nomination criteria on the first try. Meanwhile, full steam ahead. A $790 million tugboat joins Guyana's maritime fleet as the country deepens its port capacity. What this means for trade and regional logistics. And overseas, Russia launches new airstrikes as President Trump ups the pressure. A ceasefire deadline is now just weeks away. All this and more coming up on Headline News Update. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 17, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, businessman and political leader of the We Invest in Nationhood party, Azruddin Mohamed, was today arrested after surrendering to police at the West Rhymeville police station, accompanied by his attorney. He is being investigated for obstruction of justice in connection with a violent assault allegedly carried out by a key party associate. Police attempted to arrest Mohamed at his residence late Wednesday night, but he was not at home. He later claimed that the police forced and lied their way into his gated community, calling the investigation a PPP witch hunt.
They bullied their way in. I wasn't there, I was up Linden. So they talked to my sister. My sister asked them, what's the problem? They said they want to talk to Azruddin Mohamed. That was 11:30 last night. So I contacted my attorneys and we came down here 9:30 this morning. I was arrested for 4 hours. I was sitting here for 4 hours. I had 2 meetings to attend, one in Wakenham, over 100 persons waiting there to see me, and one in Parika. I don't know what is this. This is a clear case of political persecution. Clear case. I hope the Carter Center and all the different observers are taking note of what is going on.
The arrest comes just hours after a 29-year-old woman from Mahdia filed a disturbing police report alleging that she was beaten, kicked, and pistol whipped by Win party organizer Bradley Doggy Sampson after a dispute over promised payment for political work on nominations day. The assault, which reportedly occurred in public at the Square of the Revolution, was captured on video and circulated widely in social media. According to the victim, after the video surfaced online, Sampson allegedly lured her to Mohamed's gated property at Greenfield, where she claimed she was detained for over an hour by armed guards, threatened and pressured by Mohamed himself to drop the charges. In return, she says Mohamed offered her $500,000 to recant her story and accompany Sampson to the police to withdraw the complaint.
I'm against any person abusing women. I'm against that. And that's why I called the woman. And I apologize on my behalf and my party's behalf.
The woman said she later received multiple calls from Sampson urging her to abandon the case. A medical examination confirmed her injuries, and police issued a wanted bulletin for Sampson. Mohamed has refuted the allegations levied against him and stated that he did not meet with the victim, but instead called to apologize. The allegations against Mohamed are being treated as serious criminal offenses, including attempting to pervert the course of justice. However, his lawyer, Damian De Silva, stated that the charge is frivolous.
The allegation against him discloses really no known offense to law. The allegation, its length and breadth, is that he allegedly offered someone money, $500,000, to settle a grievance with a third party. Now, there is nothing nefarious about that. In fact, across the length of this country, courts would encourage parties. Y'all talk about it, y'all try to settle it. So not only is that, if it were true, frivolous, it is untrue.
De Silva said the government is shivering in fear of Mohamed.
We've seen allegations of murder being pelted. We've seen allegations of rape being heaped, allegations of drug trafficking, tax fraud, gold smuggling. I mean, there is no limit to the allegations, the lengths, the depths to which this government will go.
Mohamed was released from police custody on his recognizance. However, investigations are ongoing. In other news, the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, has moved to correct misinformation circulating in sections of the media regarding the expected timeline for announcing official results following the September 1st, 2025 general and regional elections. In a statement, GECOM expressed concerns over the misrepresentation of remarks made by Chief Election Officer Vishnu Prasad, clarifying that while district-level declarations are targeted for the night after polling day, an official nationwide declaration will not occur on election night, as incorrectly reported by some media outlets. The Commission emphasized the need to follow statutory processes including vote tabulation, publishing statements of polls, and facilitated recounts if requested. GECOM is urging accurate reporting given the politically sensitive climate and reaffirmed its commitment to delivering free, fair, and transparent elections. Meanwhile, GECOM has completed its initial review of party nominations and flagged deficiencies in the candidate list of several smaller parties. Of the 7 political parties that submitted lists on nominations day, only the People's Progressive Party and the Partnership for National Unity were not asked to make corrections. The parties flagged had issues ranging from insufficient regional candidates to duplicate names. They have until midnight Thursday to rectify the problems or risk disqualification. All parties are required to comply with strict nomination criteria, including submission of properly signed statutory declarations, achieving a gender balance, and providing accurate information about the nominators. GECOM will finalize the approved list by July 18th, with the official publication of titles and symbols slated for July 23rd. Parties have until July 21st to submit joiner lists if they intend to pool votes while contesting independently. 4 parties, the PPP, APNU, AFC, and WIN, have signaled their intent to contest in all 10 regions. On a different note, after over 4 months in hiding, 32-year-old Avinash Naidu has been arrested and charged in connection with the fatal hit-and-run crash that claimed the lives of a 19-year-old mother and her 9-month-old baby in March. Naidu, a taxi driver of Line Path Quarantine, was apprehended on July 15th during an intelligence-led operation. According to police, he was found hiding inside a chair at a house in the same village. When first confronted, he denied his identity but was taken into custody and later confirmed to be the suspect. The deadly crash occurred on March 2, 2025, when Naidu, allegedly speeding in motorcar HC 8905, struck an electric bike carrying 17-year-old Tushan Surajnarayan, his 19-year-old partner, Sarita Badesi, and their baby daughter, Eli Surajnarayan. Baby Eli died at the scene, but Badesi succumbed to her injuries 4 days later at the Georgetown Public Hospital. The driver fled without offering help, sparking a month-long manhunt. On July 16, Naidu was hauled before Magistrate Tuan Hardy at the Springlands Magistrates Court, where he was slapped with 7 charges. These include 2 counts of causing death by dangerous driving, 3 counts of failing to render assistance or seek medical help for the victims, failure to report the accident, and failure to stop at the scene. He was not required to plead to the causing death charges, but pleaded not guilty to the other 5. Naidu is scheduled to return to court on July 31st as the police continues their investigation. Stick around when we return. Maritime commissions $790 million tugboat Aru, and PSC delivers long-awaited donations to families of Mahdia fire victims.
sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. The Maritime Administration Department of the Ministry of Public Works has added a new $790 million tugboat, motor tug Aru, to its fleet, marking a significant milestone in Guyana's maritime development. The vessel was officially commissioned on Tuesday at the Transport and Harbour Department Wharf on Water Street, Kingston, during a ceremony led by Minister of Public Works Bishop One Edgehill.
Had we not made those initial investments, the maritime sector would have been playing catch up, or we would have been left as inoperable and maybe considered by some of the operators useless in terms of regulating and controlling what needs to be done within this sector.
Built by Dutch firm Damien in collaboration with Farm Supplies Limited, the Aru is capable of towing and maneuvering ships weighing up to 20,000 tons. Commissioned just months after its June 2nd arrival in Guyana, the tug is Marit's second modern acquisition in 2 years, following a $535 million Arapaima pilot vessel commissioned in 2023. Minister Edgehill highlighted the government's strategic investment in modernizing the maritime sector, which he says has transitioned from outdated vessels to internationally compliant operations.
These things are not accidental. All of these investments are intentional and purpose-driven because we are building not just oil and gas, but agriculture is being expanded. Tourism is being expanded. The build out of government services in the hinterland communities are being expanded. The development of Guyana is not just something that is happening by chance. It is carefully planned, executed by capable, visionary leadership.
The Minister of Public Works stated that 3 additional cargo vessels are expected by the end of the year to service the Demerara, Berbice, and Pomeroon Supernam rivers. Moving on, more than 2 years after the deadly Mahdia school dormitory fire that claimed the lives of 20 children, the chairman of the Private Sector Commission, Captain Jerry Govaya Jr., has handed over financial donations and support packages to families affected by the tragic 2023 Mahdia school dormitory fires, which claimed the lives of 20 children. Accompanied by PSC Executive Director Netram Ramnarain, Govaya met with grieving relatives during a recent visit to Mahdia, offering condolences on behalf of the PSC and reaffirming the private sector's commitment to supporting the affected families. The team also visited the fire site and engaged with members of the community. The donations stem from nearly $30 million raised by the PSC members in the aftermath of the tragedy. The commission faced public criticism over the delayed distribution of the funds, with questions raised by the media and attorney Christopher Ram. Govaya clarified that $29.9 million was contributed solely by the PSC members, not the general public. The May 21, 2023 blaze at the Mahdia Secondary School dormitory killed 19 girls and a 6-year-old boy. Investigations confirmed the fire was deliberately set. At the time of the incident, 56 children were housed in a poorly ventilated building with grilled windows and limited exits. Some relatives, including Valerie Carter, the mother of twin girls who died, said they were previously unaware of the PSC's funds, raising further concerns about communication and transparency. The PSC has expressed gratitude to its members for their generosity and urged continued support for the families. Don't go away after the break. Germany and UK seals historic defense pact, and new ceasefire agreed in southern Syria following Israel's strike on Damascus.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Cuba's labor minister has resigned following public outrage over comments denying the existence of beggars on the island. Speaking in parliament, she claimed people rummaging through garbage were doing so by choice to earn easy money. Her remarks were widely condemned, prompting a rare rebuke from President Diaz-Canel and a public call for her removal. Amid worsening poverty and shortages, her comments were seen as deeply out of touch. A new ceasefire has been announced between Syrian government forces and Druze fighters. The development comes hours after Israel bombed the heart of Syria's capital and threatened more attacks, Al Jazeera's Zina Krur reports.
Moscow says it's in no hurry to officially respond to Trump's threats against Russia, but it rejects ultimatums. According to officials, it will take time to analyze all the consequences of Trump's tariffs on Russia's trading partners and of the US supplying weapons to Ukraine.
We really want to know what motivates the President of the United States. It is clear that he is under enormous pressure from the European Union and the current leadership of NATO.
The Kremlin says weapons have been delivered to Ukraine for years, so it will be able to handle that. But things may change if the US lifts restrictions on using supersonic long-range missiles to their full range. That would allow them to reach military bases, airfields and supply depots deeper inside Russia. Analysts say Presidents Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump have maneuvered each other into a very difficult position. But Moscow realizes that Trump won't benefit from introducing extra tariffs on Russia's trading partners.
If he begins to, say, slap tariffs on India, that's against American interest, because America right now is wooing India to become an ally against China. And even with China, more tariffs will mean that there's going to be, instead of a compromise that they're working out with Beijing, there's going to be a new war.
Still, sanctions and tariffs can be more frustrating for Russia, together with oil prices below $60 per barrel, as the country will struggle to finance the war and manage the economy in the long run.
Right now, the peace process seems to be frozen, and both sides seem intent on continuing to pursue a military solution to the conflict in the coming 50 days or so and throw everything they have to try to achieve an advantage. They appear to hope that will get them out of the bloody gridlock that's been in place for more than 3.5 years. Yulia Shapovalova, Al Jazeera, Moscow.
A new ceasefire has been announced between Syrian government forces and Druze fighters. The development comes hours after Israel bombed the the heart of Syria's capital and threatened more attacks, Al Jazeera's Zina Krur reports.
In the past few seconds, Israeli airstrikes have destroyed Syria's Ministry of Defense. They came in one after another. Israel targeted Syria's defense ministry in the heart of the Syrian capital. Damascus shook. There were also strikes close to the presidential palace. Israel has drawn a line in what began as a local conflict. It says strikes like these on Syrian government forces will only escalate if they don't withdraw from the south of the country. It's not the first time Israel has sent such a direct message to Syria's new authorities following violence in southern Syria. In May, Israel carried out an airstrike close to the presidential palace in Damascus. Then, like now, the Israeli leadership was warning that it would enforce a demilitarized zone in southwestern Syria along its border. For the first time since the fall of the Assad regime, forces belonging to President Ahmad Shara's government have entered the southern city of Suwaida. This region is home to the minority Druze community. The state initially intervened to end an armed clash between the Druze and Sunni Bedouin tribes, but faced resistance from some Druze factions. After days of fighting, the government managed to push them out of the city, at least for now. And unlike previous negotiated settlements to end violence, this time the state will maintain a presence there.
I don't think that pulling out from Suwaida city, pulling out from Al-Mazra'ah, from the western part of Al-Suwaida is not an option right now, because it will backfire on them. It's something will, let's say, put them in a weak spot. And they cannot. There is no luxury to go back to a weak spot. There is no luxury to go back to the initial term of the negotiation.
A similar deal that would involve government troops withdrawing would mean a failure in efforts by the new authorities to unite a fractured nation and extend its authority across Syria. But staying could open a much bigger conflict with Israel that has promised more strikes if, in the words of Israel's defense minister Israel Katz, the message wasn't received. Zana Khudr, Al Jazeera, Damascus.
German Chancellor makes his first state visit to the United Kingdom to sign a historic defense cooperation treaty, the first of its kind between Germany and Britain since the Second World War. Al Jazeera's Dominic Kane reports.
One of Friedrich Merz's first acts as Chancellor was to visit the Ukrainian president with the British Prime Minister and the French president, providing a signal of collective commitment to Kiev, but also of Merz's wish to offer leadership in Europe. Already he's persuaded Parliament here to abandon previous financial prudence and deliver vast investment in rearmament. Merz and Starmer are expected to sign a defence cooperation treaty during his visit. And the sorts of sums now allocated to defence suggest Merz means it when he says the German army should be Europe's largest. His British and French counterparts seem happy with this. One analyst says it's because they're glad to see a chancellor who wants to engage with them.
Keir Starmer and Friedrich Merz are maybe the two constant pillars, as stable as you could see any politician in the political systems of various countries in Europe. So therefore, I think they are building kind of a very powerful couple. But of course, Merz is somehow the more stronger one because he's representing the leadership of the European Union.
At a recent conference in Rome, Merz used that unofficial representative role to reach out to Russia and to the United States.
I have two messages. The one goes to Moscow and to President Putin. The message is quite simple. We will not give up. And dear friends, my second message goes to Washington, D.C. and to President Donald Trump. Stay with us and stay with the Europeans. We are on the same page.
But on the topic of President Trump's trade tariffs, they are not even on the same chapter, let alone the same page. Merz says he wants a negotiated solution, but that the EU is willing to respond to what he calls excessively high tariffs, because he knows Germany would suffer considerably from them. No such danger for the UK, which by dint of Brexit has been able to negotiate its own deal with the US, allowing Keir Starmer to build a kind of rapport with the US president. But Thursday is about the rapport between the German Chancellor and the British Prime Minister. Broadly speaking, both men share views on Ukraine and the role of NATO in Europe, meaning their meeting may well be a meeting of minds. Dominic Kane, Al Jazeera, Berlin.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is this Radio Red forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.